right, it is 5:30. I'd like to call to order the regular board meeting for June 23rd, 2025. Roll call, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Mrs. Carrier? Mr. Levy?
Here.
Mr. Methvin? Mr. Vetter?
Here.
And Mrs. Mauser.
Here. Stand for the pledge, please. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome to all visitors, real and imagined. Fort County Career Center, Eric, report?
No report tonight. There's a meeting this coming Thursday at 5:30.
And Keith?
Yep. We completed the bus and van physicals, and they did that on site, which makes it nice for our drivers. Began printing pictures. I already mentioned that as we were visiting. And finished end-of-the-year reports, finalized the traveling plans for the upcoming trip, and reviewing things with the company to make sure everything's in place. Have a really movie from today with 5 students and 6 adults. That's it. The normal stuff.
Oh, hey there. Yeah, just late. We'll mark you down. I already had you marked as late. I knew you'd get here. I had faith. All right, we're going to move on to the consent. Minutes and financials. And I need a motion, please.
I'll move.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Tyler. All right, so the minutes from the regular board meeting on May 20th, 2024. The treasurer's consent agenda items include cash reconciliation as of May 31st, 2025, the financial statements for May of 2025, to approve amended official certificate of estimated resources for fiscal year 2025 as presented, total grant fund resources of $19,347,445.42, and total resources for all funds of $24,485,942.58. Approve fiscal year 2025 permanent appropriations as presented, total general fund appropriations of $14,947,679.87, and total appropriations for all funds of $17,959,149.26. To approve fiscal year 2026 temporary appropriations as presented, total general fund appropriations of $8,795,000, and total appropriations of all funds of $10,771,200, excuse me. Authorize the treasurer to enter into a contract with the Ohio School Plan for insurance coverage, property, liability, auto, cyber violence, and pollution for the policy year July 1st, 2025 through July 1st, 2026 at a premium cost of $69,969. Approve memorandum of agreement for deposit of public funds with Farmers and Merchant State Bank for the 5-year period of July 9th, 2025 through July 8th, 2030 as presented. Accepting the following donations: $1,200 from Tribune Printing to the Athletic Department, $40 from Tornado Potato Food Truck to High School Principal Fund, $150 from Fat Pig Smokehouse to High School Principal Fund, $76 from Kona Ice to High School Principal Fund, plant donation from Straight Gate Nursery to High School Testing Incentive Day Program valued at $400. And moving on, discussion, sorry, Mike.
Yes, thank you. I want to make mention on the insurance update renewal that overall we had about a 15% increase. Most of that had to do with property and liability, but part of the property increase is just an inflationary factor on the value of our property. The value went up $1.5 million, so that was partly in effect, part of the difference. Also, the catastrophic events that have happened around the country the last couple of years or so, last year probably particular with the hurricanes, fires, big fire in Hawaii, big fire in California. So those things all have affected the market. and we're paying a bit of a price for it. The good news on our insurance, cyber, cyber actually went down about 15%, and that's based on, one, the market is, it's fairly new market, cyber insurance, and it's starting to figure out its balance and where it should be. And two, I think through our technology, the tech staff has updated some things regarding cybersecurity or cyber and the security of it, and so that has helped too. Overall, our loss ratio for this past 4 years is 1%, which is like the best in the whole insurance group of like 300 schools. And we're also tiered or classified in a 9% rate group, which is also the lowest of the insurance groups, 300 schools. So I think we're there because we're doing some things right, and not just, I mean, when I say we, the whole school. I mean, liability and the building and all that is everybody's, has a part in all that. So as long as we keep our claims down or eliminate them, our rates will remain very strong. So, any other questions?
Thoughts? No. Then roll call, please.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 4-0 with 1 absent. The employment of certified staff, a motion, please.
I'll move. I'll second.
Thank you, Galen. Thank you, Tyler. Jennifer Bennett and Brianna Collar as summer tutor on an as-needed basis at a rate of $30.78 per hour. Kelsey Monroe for a 1-year limited contract for middle school intervention specialist for the 25-26 school year, pending certification. Aaron Highlander, a 5-year contract as high school principal commencing August 1st, 2025 and ending July 31st, 2030. Liz Perna at a 5-year contract as school psychologist commencing August 1st, 2025 and ending July 31st, 2030. Michael Ruan, a 5-year contract as treasurer commencing August 1st, 2025 and ending July 31st, 2030. Angie Smith, a 5-year contract as assistant principal K-12 commencing August 1st, 2025 and ending July 31st, 2030. Anthony Tier, a 5-year contract as middle school principal commencing August 1st, 2025 and ending July 31st, 2030. Certified staff in grades K through 4 for after-school intervention at a rate of $33.39 per hour for the 25-26 school year to be funded through federal Title 1A grant funds or general fund. Caitlin Bales as a certified substitute for the 25-26 school year. Michael Myers and Kelly Van Horn as volunteer cross-country coaches for the 25-26 school year. Carrie Deal as a volunteer junior high volleyball coach for the 25-26 school year. David Moore as a volunteer football coach for the 25-26 school year. Supplemental contracts for the 25-26 school year for Jennifer Bennett, co-high school student council advisor. Jennifer Bennett for breakfast monitor. Josh Priest for co-high school student council advisor. Kate Haggerty, assistant junior high volleyball coach. Kathy Laney as middle school yearbook at 50%. Ryan Meiser as head baseball coach. Paul Payne as head boys track coach. Angie Smith as freshman class advisor. Zach Yoder for weight room strength conditioning coach and also assistant junior high football coach at 44%. Any discussion?
Great to have Kelsey back here with us
I know.
today.
Thanks for coming, Kels. It's good to see you. I'm excited to see you. I still remember you studying on the bus before games. Oh. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 4-0 with 1 absent. Another motion, please.
I'll move this time. Second.
All right, thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Eric. A resignation from Timothy Paul Schock as head baseball coach effective end of the 24-25 school year. And thanks to Tim for coaching those years. He did a good job, took 2 trips to state, so that was a good deal. Any discussion? No? Roll call, please.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Abstain. Motion passes 3-0, one absent, one abstention. Moving on to the employment of classified staff. I need a motion, please.
I'll move.
I'll take Galen as a first and Eric as second. Thank you, guys. In stereo. All right. Resignation from Pam Slattery as elementary yearbook advisor effective the end of the 24-25 school year.
Galen first.
Oops, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Got it? Okay. Resignation from Jay Chamberlain as head softball coach effective the end of the 24-25 school year. Kenneth Dougal for a limited 2-year contract for custodian. Letitia Somm for a limited 2-year contract for cafeteria. Heather Scott as a classified substitute for the 24-25 school year. Caitlin Bales as a classified substitute for the 25-26 school year. Caleb Horvath and Bronson Graber as volunteer football coaches for the 25-26 school year. Supplemental contracts for the 25-26 school year. John Adams as head softball coach. Toby Balser as head junior high volleyball coach. Jen Bergman as freshman class advisor. Megan Cover for cheer advisor 9 through 12 at 50%, and also cheerleading assistant coach at 50%. Josh Flannery for football assistant coach. Trista Franklin as co-prom advisor and junior class advisor. Ashley Hammond as senior class advisor. Sam Lavin as co-Mini Aces volleyball coach. Cornelio Mendoza as Mini Aces cross-country coach. Kelsey Monroe as Cole High School assistant volleyball coach at 50%. Brad Uri as Mini Aces football coach. Kendra Pascoot as co-prom advisor and junior class advisor. Pam Payne as head girls track coach and head junior high cross-country coach. Michael Ritchie for football special teams. Mandy Ridgway senior class advisor. Mallory Sarche as cheer advisor for 7th and 8th grade. Todd Schock, football assistant coach. Melissa Scholl, sophomore class advisor. Lucas Smith, football assistant coach. Eddie Tunis, head junior high football coach at 80%. Travian Tunis as assistant junior high football coach at 80%. Carmen Vasquez as co-high school assistant volleyball coach at 50%. Riley Whitesale as cheer advisor, grades 9 through 12 at 50%. And Riley also for cheerleading assistant coach, 50%. Brian Wonderly, football assistant coordinator. Libby Yeazer, breakfast monitor. Nicole Yoder, sophomore class advisor. And Rebecca Zedike, co-Mini Aces volleyball coach at 25%. Discussion. Always good to see all of those people helping out with our kiddos. Roll call, please.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 4-0 with one absent. We also have an addendum to the employment of classified staff, so a motion for that, please.
I'll move. I'll second.
All right, thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Galen. To accept the resignation from Shannon Balser as school nurse effective the end of the 24-25 school year. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, and thanks for the years she did give us. Motion passes 4-0 with one absent. And moving on to services and agreements, a motion, please.
I'll move.
Thank you, Eric.
I'll second.
Thank you, Tyler. Service agreement with Northwest Ohio Juvenile Detention Training and Rehabilitation Center from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th of 2026. The amount of service is $91 per student per weekday for students assigned to the Juvenile Detention Center and Rehabilitation Center. For students on IEPs, the school will be invoiced per the ODE special education rate. The negotiated agreement with the Hicksville Education Association effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th of 2028. Salary schedules for classified employees, Director of Operations Assistant, the nurse, the school psychologist, and food service director effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th of 2028. Fiscal year 26 NWACA membership fees with Northern Buckeye Education Council in the amount of $39,710.32. A service agreement with NOVA for licenses and other instructional materials for the 25-26 school year. Technical service agreement with the Northern Buckeye Education Council from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th of 2026. Memorandum of Understanding by and between Defiance College and Hicksville Exempted Village Schools from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th of 2026 for the hosting of Defiance College teacher education candidates. a service agreement with Defiance County Board of Developmental Disabilities to provide educational services from August of 2025 to June of 2026. An education option program agreement administered by the Wood County Education Service Center for the Wood County Juvenile Detention Center, the Juvenile Residential Center of Northwest Ohio, for the 2025-26 school year at $88 per student per day for the students assigned to JDC and $96 per student per day for students assigned to the JRC. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 4-0 with one absent. Moving on to other business. A motion, please.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Galen. Looking at student fees for the 25-26 school year, preschool $50, grades K through 12 $60. Laptop protection plan in the amount of $50 for the 25-26 school year. Elementary school student handbook for the 25-26 school year. High school, middle school student handbook for the 25-26 school year. Elementary school staff handbook for the 25-26 school year. High school and middle school faculty handbook for the 25-26 school year. The high school course catalog for the 25-26 school year. Hicksville exempted village schools will offer a public meeting to provide the opportunity for public comment on the district's use of the IDEA Part B funds with recommendations or suggestions for special education programs and services. And Angie Smith, the assistant principal for K through 12, will be available for this meeting on Wednesday, June 25th, 2025 at 4 o'clock at Hicksville Elementary School in the elementary office conference room or by appointment at a later time. For those of you not in on Ed World, so it is for disabled education, all right, Students with Disabilities Education Act. And then a stipend for $400 for Kirsten Kaufman, Aaron Highlander, Angie Smith, Tony Tier, and Keith Countryman for required science of reading professional development. Resolution number 2025-09, a resolution to authorize execution of an agreement for professional design services. And then sister resolution number 2025-10, a resolution authorizing the solicitation of statements of qualification for design build services related to the board's agricultural sciences edition and the bus garage project. Custer's dairy food bid for district's milk supplier for the 25-26 school year. Participation in the National School Breakfast and Lunch Program, Title 1A, Title 2A, Title 3, Title 4A, IDEA B, Special Education, and IDEA Early Childhood Special Education Programs for the 25-26 school year. Students K through 12 breakfast and lunch will be free for the 25-26 school year as the district will continue with the Community Eligibility Provision Program. Adult breakfast and lunch prices for the 25-26 school year are breakfast for $2.40, lunch for $5, and extra milk is 50 cents. Discussion. I'm assuming that messages went out to people involved for that meeting for this Wednesday. Okay. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 4-0 with one absent. All right. Any old business for right now?
I
Yep.
just mentioned a couple of things going on in our state legislation and the state budget bill. A couple of items. There's a drastic attack on public schools. For example, one of the things they're looking to put in legislation, right now, if you go to pass a levy, school levy, it's 50% plus one. They are wanting to make that 60% plus one. There's not a lot of levies anywhere that get approved at 60%. I'm not aware of any of these sort of requirements for other entities other than public schools. That would make it very difficult for our district to continue, any district to continue really, if you have to fine 60%. Public schools educate somewhere in the neighborhood of 88% of the students in the state of Ohio. This is very concerning. Other things that they have got going on is levy committees. First, a couple years back, they made it where superintendent and treasurer really couldn't communicate. There was a lot of constraints and restrictions on communicating to the community on levies. Well, now they want to take that a step farther and levy committees. They want levy committees to not be able to talk to the community like 30 days before a levy. In other words, people have questions. There's nowhere for them to turn to get them, at least nowhere other than whatever's flying around social media. They have increased. At one time, we talked about the operating expenses, that anything more than 25% of an annual operating expense, that the state would give a notice to the county auditor, and the county auditor could withdraw those funds or basically take those funds back from you in property tax. That has since gone from 25 to 30% and now sits at 50%. Our district is under 50%, so that in itself gets proved that way. It's not going to be affecting us. But a lot of our neighbors are over that, a lot of districts throughout the state. And there's a lot of reasons why sometimes people are over 50%. Sometimes it's because they're preparing for something to do in the future. It's also a good place to be if the economy goes backwards and districts are more prepared to handle those kind of ups and downs of the cyclical cycle of economy. Pretty much happens. Always has happened, probably always will. So those are things that are really attacking schools. And for example, here I've got a handout. This was actually the House's proposal. But if the Fair School Funding Plan, which the first 4 years of this, that was brought together by treasurers, superintendents, and legislators from both sides of the aisle, we've gone through 4 years. There's 2 more that it needs to go to be completely a Fair School Funding Plan enacted. Our legislator wants to end the Fair School Funding Plan. With the Fair School Funding Plan, we'd probably receive over an additional $4 million over the biennial budget. Without it, and the way things stand now, we're talking around $500,000 extra over these 2 years. That is not a lot when your operating budget is $14 million or so. Over a 2-year period, this is, not just the 1 year. So it's important, too, that the Fair School Funding Plan would be continued. And I haven't heard anything that makes it look like it's going to. Our legislators seem to have put the brakes on that plan, stating that it's not doable. Well, $1 billion is going out for private schools. There's one place right there that would be able to afford public schools with 88% or so of the students to be able to be funded. Also, tax cuts. And a lot of the tax cuts that have happened do not really affect anybody probably in this room very much. Maybe somebody, I don't know. But the tax cuts are primarily coming from the upper level income earners as they're looking to get a flat tax rate across the state. So if you're already down towards the bottom, anything that you're not going to see much of any break at all. But it's my understanding, I've seen something that could be up to about $1 billion right there. It's a lot of money that could be used for the future of our state, future of our community, to put into districts. So if the state, wrap that up, the state goes ahead and keeps cutting back the funding and then makes it harder for us to pass levies, which one, we don't want to do. We just, what we have, we want to be able to continue to operate off. The effects that could have on a school district could be extreme. Cutting staff, cutting opportunities, cutting all those things. So contact legislators. They're on a stretch run. They're down to the last couple of days. They're supposed to be holding some votes this week, but the biennial budget is supposed to be approved by the end of this month.
Monday, right? 30th.
Yes, June 30th. There's another bill, House Bill 335 or Senate Bill 335, that is looking to cut back or eliminate property taxes. The effect on that, again, it could cost school districts money to be able to have teachers, to have programs. And so it's important that legislators do the right things for public schools so that we can continue to give the services to our community that we have been doing. So,
Thanks, Mike, for that update and that input.
all right, yep, thank you.
Other thoughts? Thoughts that you want to say aloud? I should qualify. No? All right.
So reach out, contact our legislators, and do it soon, do it now. Let them know that schools are important. Public school, Hicksville Exempted Village Schools, important to Hicksville, important to our community, important to the strength of our community, so forth. So that's my little pitch there.
You'd think they'd be smart enough to figure that out without people reminding them. Apparently not.
Well, when it hits the pocketbook, apparently people get a little bit, yeah, right? But always, I think what we have to do, what we do on the board, I think, is we want to put the kids first. What you guys, as educators, what we as educators do is put the kids first, right? And so for us, it's like a double slap, right? So I think for as long as we're able, we just try to educate the people that aren't aware of how things work as far as state funding for schools. Other thoughts? No? All right, so any further discussion? Any unannounced
Other-
guests? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, further discussion, something new. Today, Mr. Countryman and I received a letter from the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, specifically the Office of Nutrition. We had a audit that was done, or an administrative review of the lunchroom this past year, and it was quite in-depth. There was a lot of information that needed to be provided. I was involved with some of that, but who really did the heavy lifting was Melissa Crawford, our lunchroom director. And anyways, the letter came out and said all school meal program regulatory areas are in compliance at this time, and the review is considered closed. So she's doing a good job. We've passed that audit, and like I said, it was quite intensive. So, good news.
All right. Kelsey, I want to thank you for coming first before I move on. We are not going into executive session. We are going to have a brief adjournment before we go in. Well, we're immediately actually going to go into the work session, but if anyone needs to take like a bathroom break, they may do so. If you are leaving, our next meeting, we are not going to do a July meeting, correct? So our next meeting would be scheduled for August 18th at 5:30 at August 18th. Does that work for everybody here so far? Okay. All right, so I need a motion to adjourn from this meeting, and then we'll go and take a break and then go right into, well, we'll go into our work session. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so Tyler and Galen. And roll call, please.
Mr. Levy?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mr. Vetter?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mazur?
Yes, motion passes 4-0 with one absent. Thank you all. If you need to take a quick break.